The lies they spread about you may have seemed strong, but they were as fragile as paper. This year, your truth will burn brighter than ever before, consuming every falsehood and exposing the schemes built against you. 2025 is no ordinary year. It is your year, the year of reckoning, where justice and divine intervention take center stage. Every dagger aimed at your back will turn back on those who hurled it. They thought they could bury you, but what they didn't realize is that you were a seed. Now, you're not just rising, you're flourishing with roots so deep and strong that no storm can uproot you. This is the year their lies crumble, their plans fail, and your light shines so brightly it blinds those who underestimated you. Do you feel it? The shift in the atmosphere? This is your time to walk into the fullness of your purpose, to see divine justice served, and to take your rightful place as God's chosen one. If you've been tired of carrying the weight of lies, if you've been waiting for the day when the truth sets you free, then this message is for you. 2025 is the year where everything changes, not by chance, but by divine design. And thank you, yes, you, the chosen one. Whether you're here for the very first time or you've been a rock-solid supporter of this movement, your presence matters more than you know. To those who have supported this mission through super thanks, your generosity fuels the fire to spread this message far and wide. You are a vital part of this mission, and we cannot thank you enough. You're not just watching this, you're part of a movement that's unstoppable. Now, take a moment to comment. 777 below. Let the universe know that you are ready to claim 2025 as the foundation of your transformation. Declare that this is your year to rise, your year to shine, and your year to walk boldly in God's justice. While you're at it, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. So, are you ready? Ready to see how every falsehood against you crumbles? Ready to watch as justice rains down on those who doubted you? This year isn't here to play, it's here to elevate you and expose the truth. Let's dive in, because your moment starts now. Welcome to 2025. Welcome to the year of payback. God's chosen ones, this is the year of payback. They'll pay for the lies they spread against you. They thought their lies could bury you, rewrite your story, and define your destiny. But they overlooked one crucial truth. Lies may spread quickly, but truth has deep roots. It flourishes quietly, relentlessly, like a seed breaking through stone. Have you ever seen how God uses the very trials meant to destroy us to elevate us instead? Remember Joseph, sold into slavery by his brothers, yet rising to be the second most powerful man in Egypt. Genesis 41:40. That's the power of divine truth. It doesn't just survive, it transforms. This year isn't about merely bouncing back. It's about soaring to heights that render their whispers irrelevant, like dust swept away by the wind. They plotted in the shadows, thinking their words could chain your spirit. But isn't it ironic? Every falsehood they uttered became another rung on your ladder. You didn't just endure their schemes, you grew stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the extraordinary. Revenge isn't about retaliation, it's about revelation. True victory doesn't come with bitterness, but with grace, dignity, and divine timing. Think of David, who, despite being pursued by Saul, refused to strike back, trusting God to fight his battles. 1 Samuel 24:12. Just like that, everything they tried to take from you will be restored, multiplied, and magnified in ways they never anticipated. Imagine a slingshot. Every setback, every betrayal, every rumor was pulling you back. But this year, that tension releases. launching you into territories they could never have imagined. Doesn't it make you wonder how God is preparing your next move? Their lies may have been loud, but your truth will thunder. The heavens have been recording every injustice. God has been keeping track of every slight, every fake smile, and every backhanded compliment. This is the year when justice takes center stage. Karma isn't random. It's divinely orchestrated, precise, and always arrives on time. Picture this. The very table where they mocked you will now be the table where you feast. Just as Psalm 23:5 declares, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." Can you see it? The whispers of their deceit will turn into echoes of regret as your triumph becomes undeniable. They thought they could end your story, but they underestimated the one who writes it. You are a chosen one, a child of God. And this year, you're not just turning the page, you're writing the most glorious chapter yet. Every dagger they threw only served to sharpen your armor, every setback to prepare you for a comeback so magnificent it will leave them speechless. This isn't their year, it's yours. A year of divine payback. Not with vengeance, but with undeniable revelation. Your light will shine so brightly that their shadows will simply disappear. This year let their lies fade and their plans crumble as your truth stands taller than ever. This is the year where God's favor will lift you higher, where every weapon formed against you will fail. Isaiah 54:17. It's time for them to realize they cannot dim a light that God Himself has set ablaze. So buckle up, chosen ones. Step boldly into this year, unshakable and unapologetic. Let the world see the unstoppable force you are, a living testament to God's power and faithfulness. Are you ready to claim this moment as yours? Let's walk forward in faith and watch as God turns every trial into triumph. This is your year. This is your time. Number 1. 2025. The year they regret ever underestimating you. Never mistake silence for weakness. The fiercest storms don't announce their arrival. They build in stillness, gathering unstoppable power. While they whispered their lies, twisted truths, and dismissed your strength, heaven itself was at work. Have you ever paused to consider how God orchestrates unseen victories? Just as David was anointed in private long before he defeated Goliath, 1 Samuel 16:13, 17:50, your preparation was hidden for a reason. The stage is now set for something monumental, and those who underestimated you will soon face the weight of their error. This isn't just another year, it's the year of divine justice. Their underestimation will become their undoing. They thought they had you figured out, reduced you to a shadow of who you truly are. But God's plans are never limited by human perception. While they schemed and mocked, the heavens aligned on your behalf, crafting a masterpiece of restoration and elevation. Can you feel it? The shift that's happening now isn't by chance, it's by divine design. Have you wondered why they underestimated you so profoundly? It wasn't due to a lack of power on your part, but because your strength was concealed. Like the roots of a mighty tree growing unseen, your resilience was developing beneath the surface. They mistook your patience for passivity, your silence for surrender. But remember Isaiah 40:31, "Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles." That was your season of waiting, and now the time to soar has arrived. This year 2025 marks the moment of revelation. The truths they buried are rising to the surface, undeniable and unstoppable. The lies they spread are crumbling under the weight of your God-ordained purpose. The very words they used to tarnish your reputation will now echo as a testimony to your triumph. Doesn't it bring to mind Joseph's declaration to his brothers in Genesis 50:20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good"? The same will be true for you. This isn't revenge, it's justice. God is a God of order, and his timing is always perfect. What they mistook for weakness was preparation. The silence they mocked is now roaring with purpose. Your rise will speak louder than any defense ever could. Their regret will not come because of your actions, but because of their inability to see who you've always been. A chosen one, divinely appointed and destined to rise. Imagine this. The table they tried to block you from is now set in your honor, just as Psalm 23:5 promises. They'll watch as your blessings overflow, unable to deny the hand of God in your life. Their underestimation wasn't just a miscalculation. It was part of the script God was writing. The very stage they thought would be your downfall has become the platform for your elevation. This is 2025, the year of reckoning, the year when the scales tip and the truth shines brighter than ever. Your patience, your faith, and your resilience are now bearing fruit. Let them see, let them wonder, and let them regret. Not because you sought to prove anything, but because God's work in your life is undeniable. So, step boldly into this season. Walk in the light of your purpose. Let their disbelief fuel your drive, and their whispers fade into insignificance. This is your year. This is the year the world witnesses the unstoppable rise of a chosen one. Number 2, their fake applause turns to shock as you rise. The loudest cheers often come from those secretly waiting for you to stumble. They clap not out of admiration, but to mask their fear of your potential. Isn't there something hauntingly poetic about the sound of hollow applause? It echoes with insincerity, revealing more about their insecurities than it does about your journey. They cheered not because they believed in you, but because they expected your fall to validate their doubts. But here's the truth. Their expectations don't define you, and their shallow applause can never derail the plans that God has for your life. This is the year their performative support turns into stunned silence. Their smirks will be replaced by wide-eyed disbelief as they grapple with the reality of your unstoppable ascent. Remember how Joseph's brothers plotted against him, thinking they could crush his dreams, Genesis 37:18-20. Yet their schemes only served as stepping stones for God's greater plan. In the same way, those who doubted you will come to realize that their shallow cheers and hidden motives were no match for the divine purpose within you. They underestimated one crucial truth. God's chosen don't rise for applause, they rise for purpose. While they were rehearsing their insincere accolades, God was planting seeds of greatness within you, nurturing them with every whispered doubt and hidden betrayal. Have you ever thought about how trials often become the soil in which God's most extraordinary plans take root? Their fake applause was never your fuel. It was merely background noise to a symphony of purpose orchestrated by heaven. Now, those seeds of purpose are breaking through the surface. The rise they never believed in is happening right before their eyes. They clapped because they thought your journey was capped by the limits they imposed on you. But what they failed to see was the quiet fire burning within you, a fire that God himself has fanned into a roaring blaze. Just as David was anointed to be king in secret long before he wore the crown, 1 Samuel 16:13. Your preparation was done in silence, and now your rise is being revealed in glory. Their shock isn't just a reaction, it's a revelation. It exposes how little they understood the depth of your potential. The applause they offered wasn't meant to celebrate you. It was a flimsy mask for their doubts. But as you ascend, their claps grow weaker, their masks begin to slip, and their discomfort becomes undeniable. Isn't it amazing how God uses the very things meant to hinder us to reveal his power in us? Their shock is not your burden to carry. It's their reckoning with the truth of who you are. The applause they once gave out of politeness or pretense will soon be replaced by silence. But this silence won't be indifference, it will be awe. They'll stand speechless, unable to deny the magnitude of your rise. This is the year where their shallow cheers fade into nothingness, overshadowed by the radiance of your God-ordained ascent. Their disbelief will echo as the soundtrack to your victory. So, let them watch. Let their shock speak louder than their whispers ever could. This is not the time to look back or seek validation from those who doubted you. Your focus is forward, fixed on the path God has prepared for you. As Psalm 23:5 reminds us, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." Let that be your reality. This is your year. Their hollow applause will die in the shadow of your purpose, and your light will shine brighter than ever. Number 3, the justice they feared is the reality they can't escape. You can outrun the truth for a season, but you cannot escape the justice waiting at the finish line. They whispered behind your back, schemed in the shadows, and smiled to your face while plotting your downfall. For a time, they thought they had succeeded. They believed their lies had buried you, their betrayals had broken you, and their schemes had sealed your fate. But what they never understood is this: justice doesn't forget, it doesn't falter, and it never fails to deliver. This year 2025 is the year of reckoning. The justice they feared has arrived, and it's a force they can no longer escape. Doesn't it remind you of Proverbs 26:27, which says, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." While they reveled in their temporary victories, the heavens were taking note, aligning events and preparing a precise and inescapable balance. The scales have tipped, and what they dreaded most, accountability, has become their undeniable reality. They thought they could manipulate the narrative, twist the truth, and walk away unscathed. But the truth is relentless. Like water carving through stone, it moves silently yet powerfully. Their web of deceit is no longer a fortress. It's a trap of their own making. Have you ever considered how God uses even their most calculated plans against them? Just as Haman in the book of Esther built a gallows for Mordecai, only to be hung on it himself, Esther 7:10, so too are the traps they laid now turning against them. They laughed when they thought you were defeated. They celebrated your supposed downfall, oblivious to the divine justice that was quietly at work. Justice doesn't operate on human timelines. It operates on God's perfect timing. And when it strikes, it doesn't just balance the scales, it overturns entire worlds. The higher they climbed on their ladder of deceit, the harder their fall. Doesn't Galatians 6:7 ring true here? Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. This is the year they feel every ounce of the pain they inflicted, not because you sought revenge, but because divine justice demands balance. And here's the beauty. You didn't need to lift a finger. You didn't have to retaliate or defend yourself. All you needed to do was remain steadfast, walking in integrity and truth. Psalm 37:6 assures us, "He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun." This is your noonday moment. Now, as they face the consequences of their actions, you rise, unshaken, unbroken, and unstoppable. They feared this moment, the moment when the truth would emerge, exposing their lies for what they truly were. They feared the justice they thought they could evade, but fear cannot stop the inevitable. Their whispers and schemes have crumbled, and the spotlight of truth is now shining brightly on all they sought to hide. This isn't just your year of victory, it's their year of reckoning. Their lies are no longer a shadow, they're a weight pulling them down. The harm they intended for you has rebounded onto them, just as Joseph told his brothers, in Genesis 50 paths. 20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. And as they struggle under the weight of justice, you rise, vindicated by God's unwavering hand. Let this year mark the beginning of your triumph and their realization that truth is unstoppable. The universe and the Creator behind it has spoken. Justice has arrived, and there is no escape. Your rise is not just a testament to your strength, but a witness to the divine power of integrity, faith, and truth. Number 4. They set the trap. Now they're the ones caught in it. Be careful of the traps you set for others, for the very snares meant to harm often become cages for the hunter. The universe and the Creator behind it has a way of flipping the script. Doesn't it remind you of Haman's story in the book of Esther? He built gallows to hang Mordecai, only to be hanged on them himself. Esther 7:10. While they were busy plotting, digging pits, and weaving webs of deceit to ensnare you, heaven was quietly turning the tide. Justice may seem slow, but it is never absent. This isn't just a story of survival, it's a testimony of divine intervention. This is the year when the trap they laid becomes their undoing. They thought they were clever, strategizing in secret, whispering schemes as if no one could see. But Proverbs 26:27 warns us, whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. Every scheme, every falsehood, every piece of their puzzle was recorded. And now that puzzle reveals an unexpected picture. They're caught in their own web. Traps don't just catch prey, they expose the hunters. Their every move revealed their fear. Fear of your potential, your strength, and the light you carry as one of God's chosen. They didn't set traps because they were strong. They set them because they were terrified of what you could become. Doesn't this remind you of Joseph's story? His brothers sold him into slavery, thinking they had destroyed his destiny. Instead, God used their betrayal to elevate him to a position of power that ultimately saved them all. Genesis 50:20. Their traps were never about you. They were a reflection of their own weakness. While they were plotting your downfall, God was fortifying your foundation. Every betrayal, every lie, every setback was used to strengthen you. Picture this: the pit they dug to bury you has become their own grave. The lies they spun now entangle them, tightening with every attempt to twist the narrative further. They wanted to see you fall, but instead, they're witnessing the collapse of their own plans. How often does God turn the enemy's weapons back on them? And you're walking past them, untouched and unshaken. This isn't revenge. God's justice doesn't operate on petty retaliation. It operates on divine balance. Every trap they set disrupted the natural order, creating ripples of imbalance. Now, the scales are correcting themselves. Galatians 6:7 reminds us, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. They thought they could control the outcome, but control was never theirs to wield. The irony is almost poetic. The harder they worked to destroy you, the more they ensured their own reckoning. Their arrogance blinded them to the truth. Chosen ones don't crumble under pressure, they rise. You were never just a survivor. You're an architect of your destiny. The trap they thought would end your story was merely the beginning of their lesson. A lesson from a universe that doesn't forget, doesn't falter, and ensures every debt is paid in full. Now, let them sit in the cage they built, watching as you soar beyond their reach. This is your year to prove that no trap, no scheme, no lie can hold back what God has destined to rise. And for them, They'll have all the time in the world to reflect on the consequences of underestimating the chosen. The pit they dug wasn't your end, it was their downfall. Let their plans crumble, their arrogance fade, and their regret grow as you step boldly into the fullness of your destiny. Number 5, they wrote the script, you directed the plot twist. They wrote you off, convinced they held the pen to your story. But here's the truth they missed. The pen was never in their hands. The plot twist, it's always been yours to write. Every great story has a turning point, and this year the narrative they tried to impose on you takes a turn so sharp it leaves them speechless. They imagined a tale where you remained the underdog, the forgotten character in a story they believed they controlled. What they couldn't grasp was that God had handed you the director's chair long before their schemes began. This isn't their script, it's yours. And in 2025, you're rewriting the story in ways they never anticipated. They underestimated you because they thought their lies, betrayals, and manipulations could box you into a role of their choosing. They cast you as the antagonist, the one meant to falter and fail. But Proverbs 19:21 reminds us, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. God doesn't allow chosen ones to live by scripts written by small minds. You didn't just survive their plot, you studied it. You saw their strategies, their schemes, and their forced twists. Instead of playing the role they assigned, you turned the narrative upside down. Imagine Joseph, sold into slavery by his brothers, rising to be the savior of his family. Genesis 50:20. Like him, you turned the page, and their story became the prologue to a masterpiece they never saw coming. This is the year their carefully constructed narrative crumbles, and your truth takes center stage. Can you picture their faces when they see it? The story they thought they controlled now has a new trajectory, and they're no longer the authors. They're spectators. Their plot was small, a box meant to limit you. But your vision, rooted in divine alignment and purpose, is limitless. They thought they were writing your ending, but it was only the setup for your ascent. What they tried to scribble over your life couldn't tarnish the masterpiece that God had already written for you. This year, your resilience, strength, and unshakable spirit stain the pages of destiny, erasing their lies and replacing them with undeniable truth. Isn't it beautiful how God turns the plans of the wicked into stepping stones for his chosen ones? Just as Psalm 23:5 says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." This is your moment to shine while they watch in disbelief. Let's talk about their reactions, because they will react. When the plot twist they never saw coming unfolds, they'll scramble to make sense of it. How did this happen? They'll wonder. How did they rise when we worked so hard to hold them down? But the answer isn't one they'll want to hear. The story was never theirs to control. It was always God's. His hand has been guiding your script, and his timing is perfect. This is the year they'll regret every lie, every betrayal, and every attempt to dictate your destiny. The twist isn't just about proving them wrong. It's a revelation that they were never the storytellers to begin with. You've always been the author of your own journey, empowered by a creator who wrote his purpose into your life before you were born. Jeremiah 1:5. In 2025, the script flips, the plot thickens, and your story unfolds with power and grace. Let them sit in the audience, stunned, as the masterpiece of your life plays out. This isn't just a story of survival. It's a story of triumph, faith, and divine purpose. The spotlight is yours now, and your light will shine so brightly that their shadows will fade into irrelevance. This is your show. This is your year. And the story is only just beginning. Number 6. Their gossip was cheap. Your comeback is priceless. Cheap words can never buy respect, but a priceless comeback silences everything. Gossip is the weapon of the insecure, a desperate attempt to diminish someone else's worth while masking their own inadequacies. They invested their time and energy spreading rumors, hoping to purchase your silence, your retreat, your downfall. But here's the truth they overlooked. The Creator doesn't deal in worthless exchanges. While they traded in lies, heaven was crafting something far more valuable for you. A comeback so powerful it renders their chatter meaningless. They whispered in secret, laughed in hidden corners, and painted you with the colors of their own fears. To them, your silence was surrender, and your patience was proof of defeat. But how often does God use what appears to be weakness to prepare for strength? Just as Jesus remained silent before his accusers, Matthew 27:12-14, your silence wasn't surrender, it was preparation. What they couldn't see was the masterpiece God was shaping behind the scenes. A return so grand, their cheap words would crumble into irrelevance. Gossip is effortless, empty, and fleeting. It costs nothing to spread, and even less to believe. But your comeback, it's priceless. It's forged in fire, built on resilience, and powered by purpose. While they wasted their energy tearing you down, you were rising, brick by brick, moment by moment, creating a legacy they could never imagine. Doesn't it remind you of Nehemiah rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem? Despite the taunts and opposition, he kept building, declaring, "I am doing a great work and cannot come down." Nehemiah 6:3. You too stayed focused, rising above their distractions. They thought their whispers could define you, that their lies could limit you. But gossip doesn't define greatness. It reveals the fear of those too small to see the bigger picture. God heard every word they spoke, saw every betrayal they planned, and kept record of it all. Now their words are nothing more than faint echoes, drowned out by the sound of your rising. Just as Isaiah 54:17 promises, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. Your comeback is more than a response, it's a declaration. It's a living testament that you are not shaped by their opinions, and their cheap gossip holds no power over your destiny. Imagine their shock as they watch you rise. The very people who once carried rumors now falling silent before your undeniable truth. The same voices that sought to diminish you are now witnesses to your resilience and strength. Their words were a gamble they thought they could win, but they've lost. Meanwhile, your priceless comeback is a masterpiece they can only observe from the sidelines. You didn't just survive their chatter, you transcended it. While they played small, you were preparing for something infinite. Like Joseph, who endured betrayal but rose to a position of power that even his brothers couldn't deny. Genesis 50:20. Your rise is undeniable. And now, as your light shines brighter, their words fade like shadows at dawn. Let this year be a reminder. Their gossip was never about you. It was always a reflection of their own insecurities. But your comeback, that's about everyone who needs to witness the power of faith, perseverance, and grace. This isn't just a victory, it's a revelation. It's proof that no amount of chatter can ever diminish the value of someone destined to rise. Their gossip was cheap. Your comeback, it's priceless. And this year they'll learn the hard way what it means to see purpose triumph over pettiness. Number 7. The walls they built around you are now their prison. Those who dig graves for others often find themselves buried in their own deceit. The walls they built around you were designed to confine you, to cage your potential, and to limit the reach of your light. Each brick was laid with intent to silence your voice, sow seeds of doubt, and isolate you from the divine power that has always been within you. But here's the truth they overlooked. The chosen ones cannot be contained. This year, the very walls they built to trap you will become their own prison. At first, those walls felt towering, unyielding, didn't they? They were fortified with lies, reinforced by betrayal, and crafted to block your paths. They whispered rumors behind your back, spreading doubt where you couldn't defend yourself. To them, this fortress was their control, a way to dictate how far you could go and what the world would believe about you. But what they failed to understand is that walls built on lies are never strong enough to stand against the truth. Proverbs 26:27 declares, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." While they were busy constructing barriers to contain you, God was fortifying your spirit, planting seeds of resilience and purpose that would grow into a force unstoppable by human schemes. Their arrogance blinded them to a simple reality. Walls don't just keep people out, they also trap the builders inside. This year, as your truth shatters every barrier, those same walls will become their cage. The lies they told, the alliances they formed, and the traps they set are now turning against them. What they built to limit you has become the very thing that confines them. Justice is not delayed, it is precise, and it has arrived. Imagine this. They watch in disbelief as you rise, climbing over the rubble of their failed attempts to keep you down. They thought those walls would keep you from opportunities, but instead, they've created boundaries they can no longer escape. Like the walls of Jericho that fell before Joshua, Joshua 6:20, their fortress of deceit is collapsing under the power of truth and divine justice. You didn't just survive their schemes, you transcended them. While they fixated on limiting you, you turned inward, drawing on the strength and purpose God was building within you. The walls they built to imprison you now lie in ruins, serving as a monument to their failure and a testament to your triumph. Romans 8:28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Every scheme they devised has only strengthened your resolve and highlighted your calling. Now, let them face the prison of their own making. Their lies are the chains that bind them, their deceit the lock that holds them captive. This isn't about revenge. It's the natural order of truth reclaiming its place. While you walk freely in your purpose, they remain trapped by the barriers they thought would stop you. Their regret is their cage, and your freedom is your triumph. This is the year their plans backfire spectacularly. The walls they built to hold you back now echo with their own fear and desperation. The universe and the God who orchestrates it all saw every brick, every whisper, every betrayal. Justice has flipped the script, and now all they can do is watch as you rise beyond their reach. This is your year. Their cage of regret cannot contain you. Their walls have crumbled, and your purpose shines brighter than ever. Walk boldly into the freedom you were always destined for, leaving their schemes in ruins behind you. You are unstoppable, unshakable, and destined to rise. Number 8, they lit the fire, you forged the sword. The fire meant to destroy, you became the forge that sharpened your blade. Now you are unstoppable. They thought the flames they set would consume you, leaving nothing but ashes. They wanted to see you burn, to be reduced to nothing. But the universe and the God who reigns over it had a different plan. Just as Joseph declared to his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 50:20. The fire they lit for your destruction became the furnace for your transformation. Instead of being destroyed, you stood in the fire, unshaken, as it refined you into something far greater. The heat they unleashed didn't break you, it sharpened you, Fire is destructive, yes, but it is also transformative. Gold is refined in fire, and iron is forged into steel through intense heat. What they meant to harm you became the process that revealed your strength, your purpose, and your unstoppable spirit. Every betrayal, every whispered lie, every attempt to tarnish your name, they weren't victories for them. They were the fuel for the fire that forged the sword now in your hand. And here's the truth they cannot escape. You didn't just survive their fire, you thrived in it. They underestimated you because they didn't understand the power of resilience forged in trials. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, you stood in the flames, unburned and protected by a divine presence. Daniel 3:25. They saw only the surface, believing the heat would make you crumble. What they didn't see was the inner steel God had placed in you, a strength they could never diminish. While they cheered for your downfall, you were becoming the very thing they feared, unbreakable. Imagine this. The same hands that struck the match now tremble as they see the blade you've become, the lies they told, the rumors they spread, and the obstacles they placed in your path. They thought those were victories, but in truth, they were tools. Every insult was another degree of heat. Every betrayal, another strike of the hammer. Every setback, another moment where the fire shaped you into something they could never confront. The fire they lit to destroy you was never chaos. It was purpose. Fire doesn't just burn, it refines. It reveals impurities, burns away the unnecessary, and strengthens what remains. The sword you carry now isn't just a weapon, it's a testament to your endurance, your faith, and the justice of God, who turns all things for good. Romans 8:28. It's a declaration that their plans failed, and that you are not merely a survivor, you are a warrior. And now, here you stand, not as the victim they hoped for, but as the warrior they feared. The sword in your hand is more than a symbol of survival, it's a statement of triumph. Isaiah 54:17 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper," and now you embody that truth. You are the weapon. Their fire didn't destroy you, it defined you, strengthened you, and revealed your purpose. Let them watch as you wield the strength they unknowingly gave you. Let them see the sharp edge of your resolve, the unyielding steel of your faith and purpose. Their betrayal may have lit the flames, but it is your triumph that now burns brighter. This is the year where the fire of their schemes becomes the light of your victory. The sword has been forged, and it's time to carve the path they can never block. Step boldly into your destiny, for the fire didn't consume you. It transformed you into something they can never defeat. Number 9. The crown. They tried to steal shines, brighter than ever. They thought they could steal your crown, not realizing it was forged in a fire they could never endure. There's an audacity in believing you can take what was never meant for you. They plotted, schemed, and twisted the narrative, convinced they could dethrone you. But here's the truth. Your crown wasn't simply given, it was earned, molded through trials, battles, and tears. This year, the crown they tried to take doesn't just return. It shines brighter, reflecting their failure and your unstoppable rise. They thought their lies, betrayals, and whispers could strip you of what heaven ordained for you. But what they failed to understand is this: a crown is not just a symbol, it's a testament. It testifies to your resilience, your purpose, and the divine plan that no human hand can disrupt. Their attempts to steal it were never about their worthiness. They were fueled by their desperation to dim your light. What they didn't grasp is that a crown is not merely gold, it's forged in fire. It's created through rejection, betrayal, and pain. While they were busy scheming, you were evolving. The Creator was preparing you to wear this crown, not as a prize, but as proof of your strength. Their hands, unworthy and trembling with envy, could never grasp what carries the weight of divine purpose. Picture this. They reached for your crown, believing it was fragile, something they could pluck away like a trinket. But when their fingers touched it, they felt the burn of their own inadequacy. The crown they coveted wasn't just beyond their reach, it was untouchable. And now, in 2025, that crown gleams with a brilliance that blinds their envy and forces them to face their failure. They'll wonder how they missed it, how they underestimated the strength and fortitude that the crown represents. They'll replay their schemes, realizing too late that their efforts didn't destroy you, they refined you. Every lie they told, every plot they crafted only polished the crown, making it shine brighter than ever. The crown isn't just an ornament, it's a reflection of your journey. It's a symbol of every battle you've fought, every challenge you've overcome, and every step you've taken toward your divine calling. It radiates with the light of truth, a light so powerful that it exposes their shadows for what they truly are. Isaiah 62:3 reminds us, "You shall also be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and a royal diadem in the hand of your God." This crown is not just for you, it's a testament to God's work in your life. Let them watch as the crown they tried to steal becomes the beacon that guides your path forward. Their attempts to diminish you have become the irony that fuels your triumph. The crown shines not because they desired it, but because God deemed you worthy to wear it. It is not the product of fleeting victories or shallow ambitions. It is the fruit of purpose, perseverance, and divine favor. And now, as you rise, crowned and unstoppable, they are left with nothing but regret. The crown wasn't theirs to take, and your light was never theirs to extinguish. Let their envy fade into the background as you walk boldly into the future, carrying the crown not just as a symbol, but as a testament to your destiny and God's unwavering hand in your life. Number 10. The truth is loud. Their lies are silent. Lies may echo in empty halls, but truth thunders in the hearts of all who hear it. This year, the truth doesn't whisper, it roars. It doesn't tiptoe, it thunders. The intricate webs of deceit they spun now hang brittle and fragile, exposed for the hollow constructions they always were. Their whispers have faded, powerless against the undeniable force of your truth. They thought their lies could bury you, but the Creator had a different plan. Every false word, every whispered rumor was fuel for the fire God lit within you, a fire too bright to ignore, too powerful to extinguish. This year that fire becomes a beacon, shining a light so radiant it reveals everything they tried to keep hidden. Doesn't it remind you of John 1:5? The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That light is your truth, and this year it rises with such intensity that no shadow can remain. The thing about lies is that they're temporary, like shadows stretching at sunset. They may seem long and intimidating, but as soon as the sun rises, they vanish without a trace. And this year, your truth rises like the dawn, sweeping away the falsehoods they once relied on. Their lies are now silent, eclipsed by the undeniable evidence of your resilience and purpose. Imagine their hearts now, silent, weighed down by the truth they tried so hard to suppress. At first, their lies were loud, weren't they? They echoed in the spaces where doubt lingered, feeding the ears of those quick to judge. But lies are fragile things, built on weak foundations. Truth, however, is unshakable. It doesn't need to defend itself or compete. It simply exists, growing stronger with time, like the wise man who built his house on the rock. Matthew 7:24-25. Your truth stands firm while their house of deceit crumbles. This year, as you rise, their words are revealed for what they were: noise, fleeting, meaningless noise. They could never compete with the symphony of your purpose, orchestrated by the one who holds the universe in his hands. The pieces have been aligning for this moment, ensuring that your truth is not only seen, but felt. In that resonance, their lies disintegrate into dust, and the brilliance of your journey shines for all to witness. Their silence is telling. It speaks of regret, of the weight of their deceit, and of the realization that no matter how loud their lies once were, they could never overpower the truth. It's a silence that will linger with them, a constant reminder of their failure to suppress the unstoppable force of who you are. As Proverbs 12:19 declares, "Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment." But this moment isn't just about proving them wrong. It's about stepping fully into the light of your purpose. It's about the world finally seeing what has always been true: your strength, your integrity, your resilience. The Creator never doubted you, and now heaven and earth conspire to ensure no one else does either. Their silence becomes the backdrop against which your truth echoes louder than ever before. Let them sit in that silence. Let it serve as the space where your truth resounds like a mighty roar. This is the year where the lies are silenced for good, and the truth isn't just loud, it's deafening. The weight of their deceit has crumbled, and your light stands unchallenged, radiating power, purpose, and divine justice. Number 11. Their empire of deceit crumbles. Yours rises higher. Lies may build empires, but truth turns them to rubble. This year, the fragile walls of deceit they constructed crumble, brick by crumbling brick. Their empire, built on manipulation, slander, and shadows, was never meant to last. The universe and the God of truth doesn't sustain what is rooted in betrayal. It rewards what is anchored in resilience, integrity, and purpose. As their false foundations collapse, your empire, strong, steadfast, and unstoppable, rises higher than they ever imagined. They thought their lies would endure, that their intricate web of deceit would secure their position. They sat in their towers of falsehood, planting seeds of doubt and waiting to see you fall. But like the house built on sand, their empire was doomed to collapse. Matthew 7:26-27. The winds of truth are blowing, and their whispers have become nothing but echoes swallowed by light. This is the year their fortress of lies falls apart under the weight of their own duplicity. You never had to stoop to their level, to attack their empire, or defend yourself from their schemes. The Creator has been working behind the scenes, dismantling their plans with precision and patience. Justice doesn't rush. It arrives in perfect timing. Their deceit may have brought them fleeting victories, but their empire was always temporary. Chosen ones don't thrive on destruction. They thrive on building something real, something lasting, something no lie could ever replicate. Have you noticed how lies can't sustain the weight of truth? Like a cracked foundation, they crumble under the pressure of authenticity. Imagine this: the cracks in their walls are now too big to hide. The lies they told to hold their empire together have become the very force tearing it apart. They see it now, but it's too late. What they thought was indestructible is now a pile of rubble. And from those ruins your empire rises, not built on deceit, but on truth and integrity. Their collapse becomes the backdrop to your ascension, a testament to the strength of what's real. Their empire was nothing more than a house of cards. This year the winds of your success blow it down. They believed themselves invincible, untouchable, but Proverbs 12:19 reminds us, "Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment." Every betrayal, every manipulation, every underhanded tactic added another crack to their foundation. Now, their empire doesn't just fall, it implodes. consumed by the very lies that built it. Meanwhile, your rise is undeniable. This isn't just about surviving their attempts to undermine you. It's about thriving in ways they never thought possible. Your empire isn't flashy or shallow. It's rooted in purpose, authenticity, and a strength they could never fake. Let them stand in the dust of their downfall, watching as you build higher and higher. Their envy becomes the backdrop to your triumph, their regret the monument to their failure. This isn't just a victory, it's justice. Their empire of deceit crumbles, while yours, built on truth and resilience, stands tall and shines brighter. Just as Joseph rose to power despite his brother's schemes, Genesis 50:20. Your journey is proof that what was meant to harm you has only prepared you for greatness. Let their downfall serve as a reminder that lies may rise quickly, but they fall even faster. Your empire, chosen one, is eternal, rooted in divine purpose and unshakable truth. Keep building, keep rising, and let the ruins of their deceit serve as the foundation for your triumph. This is your year to shine brighter than ever before. Number 12. Your silence was their warning. Now comes their reckoning. Silence is not the absence of power, it's the preparation for impact. This year, the reckoning begins. They mistook your silence for surrender, your stillness for weakness. What they fail to understand is that silence is never empty. It's a force gathering strength, a storm forming on the horizon, a clear warning of what's to come. While they filled the air with lies, whispers, and schemes, your silence was the loudest statement of all. And now, that statement is about to become their reality. To them, your refusal to engage was a sign of defeat, a quiet acknowledgement of their supposed victory. But silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. As Ecclesiastes 3:7 reminds us, there's a time to be silent and a time to speak. Your silence wasn't retreat, it was preparation. Knowing the universe and the divine hand guiding it was already working on your behalf. While they were busy building their illusions, you conserved your energy, watching as their own actions set the stage for their downfall. This year, silence breaks, not with words, but with action. The reckoning they never believed would come is here. The Creator doesn't forget, and justice never misses its mark. Every lie, every betrayal, every falsehood is coming full circle, returning to them in ways they never anticipated. This reckoning isn't sudden, it's precise. Like a clock striking midnight, it arrives right on time, dismantling everything they thought was secure. Picture their faces as their carefully crafted web of deceit collapses around them. The same people who mocked your quiet resolve, mistaking grace for passivity, now find themselves ensnared by their own schemes. Proverbs 26:27 declares, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." Their plans have turned into traps, and their whispers into haunting echoes. Your silence wasn't just a warning, it was a mirror reflecting their insecurities and fears. They projected their weakness onto you because they couldn't face it within themselves. But now the mirror has shattered, leaving only the undeniable truth. Their downfall was inevitable. Every lie they told, every rumor they spread, every betrayal they orchestrated has become a brick in the wall that now confines them. Let's be clear, this reckoning isn't about revenge, it's about justice. It's about the balance of the universe restoring itself, ensuring that no action goes unaccounted for. They laughed when you said nothing, mistaking your stillness for submission. But this year, their laughter dies in their throats, replaced by the weight of their own misdeeds. Romans 12:19 reminds us, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay.'" says the Lord. Justice isn't delayed, it's perfectly timed. You don't need to lift a finger. You don't need to defend yourself or seek validation. The reckoning is already in motion. The lies they told to destroy you have become the chains that bind them. The silence they misread as weakness now roars with the sound of their own consequences. This is your year, the year where silence transforms into triumph. Their reckoning is not your burden, it's their lesson. While they grapple with the weight of their actions, you rise higher, untouched and unstoppable. Let them feel the gravity of what they ignored. Your silence was their warning. Now it's their reckoning. The stage is set, and the Creator never misses his cue. Number 13. The clock has reset. 2025 is the year of payback. The clock doesn't forgive, it simply waits. And this year, it's waiting for them. In 2025, the clock resets, ticking closer with every second to their reckoning. The lies they told, the betrayals they orchestrated, the chaos they sowed, all carry a debt that cannot be ignored. This is the year the bill comes due. Time doesn't erase actions, it amplifies their consequences. The clock, once their silent ally, now ticks louder, faster, with undeniable purpose. They thought they could hide behind the passage of time, believing the distance from their deceit would shield them. But time isn't forgetful, it's deliberate. The universe has been watching, waiting for the perfect moment, and now the hourglass turns. This isn't revenge, it's balance. This isn't pettiness, it's precision. The clock resets, and every second now works against them and for you. Imagine a pendulum swinging back and forth. For years they've pushed it in their favor, tilting the narrative, distorting the truth, and stacking the odds against you. But, as Proverbs 11:1 reminds us, the Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him. The universe doesn't tolerate imbalance for long. The pendulum swings both ways, and now it returns with a force they could never anticipate. Their lies, built on fragile foundations, are no match for the weight of karma, and their arrogance will crumble beneath the pressure of inevitability. This year is the year of reckoning, not the kind that seeks vengeance, but the kind that moves with divine timing, striking with unrelenting accuracy. They thought they could outrun the clock, but time has a way of catching up when it's least expected. For every second they spent plotting against you, underestimating your resilience and manipulating the truth, the clock has been counting down, and now the universe has reset the stage. This year isn't about lingering in the shadows of their deceit. It's about stepping fully into the light of your purpose, unbothered by their whispers and unfazed by their schemes. Their time was borrowed, and now it's over. What they sowed in lies, they will reap in regret. Galatians 6:7 reminds us, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Time doesn't just reveal the truth, it amplifies it. Their facade cracks under the weight of reality. Their schemes unravel, and their lies lose all power. Meanwhile, every tick of the clock marks a step forward for you, a confirmation that you were never defeated, only delayed. This year, payback isn't loud, it's divine. It moves in silence with purpose, ensuring every wrong they committed meets its rightful consequence. Their arrogance, their laughter, their underestimation of your strength, it all fades into the background as your truth ascends and their lies disintegrate. Isaiah 54:17 promises, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and now that promise manifests. 2025 is the year their borrowed time runs out. Their empire of deceit collapses brick by fragile brick, while your truth stands unshaken, eternal. The countdown has begun, and their reckoning is here. Time may heal wounds, but it also collects debts. This year, let the clock strike justice, exposing the weight of their actions while amplifying the brilliance of your rise. As we come to the end of this powerful message, take a moment to reflect on the significance of what lies ahead. 2025 is not just another year, it is the year that everything will shift in your favor. The lies they spread, the false accusations they made, and the doubts they planted will all be exposed and dismantled by the undeniable force of truth and justice. This is not simply a year of payback, it is your year of ascension, your year to walk into a place of clarity, empowerment, and ultimate victory. The struggles you've faced, the challenges you've overcome, and the battles you've fought are all leading to this moment where you will rise above it all. If you're ready to claim this year as your own, to take back what was taken, and to rise stronger than ever before, I encourage you to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this message with someone who needs to hear this truth today. Drop the number 77 in the comments to boldly declare your rise and your readiness to step into 2025 with power and confidence. Additionally, if this message resonates with you and you feel led to support us, consider donating through Super Thanks. Your support helps us continue spreading these empowering messages. Whether you donate or not, your presence, engagement, and prayers are deeply appreciated. We are thankful for each and every one of you. May this new year bring you all the blessings, clarity, and breakthroughs you've been waiting for. As you step boldly into 2025, remember that you are unshakable, unstoppable, and destined for greatness. Let's walk into this year together, fully equipped to overcome and thrive in every situation.